Hi, I'm Eileen Bild. I'm with OTEL Talk, and today I have my dear friend Dr. Nancy Wiley back, and we are doing a series, and this is episode 2, and we're going to be talking about, or segueing from episode 1, which is about presence, and we're going to segue now into thoughts. And so, Nancy, I want to start off with asking you, I heard someone say that a good thing to do is to watch our thoughts. So why would you think that that's helpful?
Okay, that's a great question. Thanks again for having me here. I love OTEL Universe and what you're doing. It's really powerful, super powerful. So about our thoughts, it's said that we have 80, the normal human has 80,000 thoughts a day. And when you try to wrap your head around that, it's almost, you can't do it. So I'm going to go back to that first episode. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, because in that first episode, I talk about our mind and our left brain and how we're taught to operate from logic and science and rationality, versus the right brain, which is more coming from consciousness. So the whole goal is to be conscious in the present moment and aware and awake of your divinity. So that's kind of just a recap, that first episode. Now, when we take this mind and thoughts, I just want to talk a little bit about, if you're watching your thoughts, are you judging? Are you dividing? Are you categorizing, labeling? Are you finding blame, shame? Are you complaining? Are you finding what's lacking, missing, or wrong? Those are all sure signs you are in your mind, in your left brain. And it's the actual leftover remnants of the reptilian brain, where we had to scan the horizon. This is like caveman stuff. We had to scan the horizon. What was going to kill us? Was there that saber-toothed lion out there, or tiger? Was there, a rattlesnake? How are we going to get food? It's all about, looking on the horizon, scanning it for what's going to harm us, versus our consciousness. It's operating from a higher, more profound place. And when you can tell you're operating from here, if you're looking for what's whole, what's good, what's lovely, what's beautiful, what's unifying, it's a complete different feeling sense. So everything starts with our vibration inside. We're all vibrations. Everything's vibration. A thought is a thing, and it's a vibration. So if we're looking for that judgment, that blaming, shaming, complaining, it's a victim mentality. Whenever someone says, you did me wrong, victim mentality, versus I'm whole and complete, operating from this consciousness, this divinity that we are. This is the shift that's going on right now. It's actually almost, what is humanity going to end up with? Well, I am shown we are going to end up operating from our consciousness, pure and whole. And that is the massive shift that is happening on the planet right now. You can feel it. Everybody knows it. They feel it inside. That's why they're here on the planet, whether they can verbalize that or not. When it's explained like that, it's like, oh, we took a body right now, and there's no question that people who are in human form right now have signed up to be part of this shift, and they know it. They're being called to it. Now we have resistance. I want to go into this because I know you're going to get to what's resistance. Most of our suffering in the human plane is from being in our mind, in that left brain, and resisting what is. So if we come from it from a different perspective and say, whatever happens is okay. I know it's meant. And this is that divine trust that I'm here to teach, that I embody. And yes, do I fall out of it? Absolutely. We're human. We are going to fall out of it. But then I just go back to my trust, my communion with source, and understanding that everything is perfect just the way it is. Resistance dissolves. So the thoughts that are negative, you can tell, you can catch yourself when you're falling out of your consciousness, because you're blaming, shaming, complaining, finding what's lacking, missing, or wrong, versus everything's perfect. I'm perfect. There's nothing, not even a hair out of place.
Yeah, that's wonderfully put. I love it. And I want you to finish this sentence I'm going to say, because I think it'll help people understand that difference that you're talking about. So the left brain comes from the idea of survival, and the right brain comes from the idea of
our awareness of the divinity that we are.
So tell me more about that, in relation to our thoughts and
okay.
What we're talking about today.
I mean, this could go so deep, and
I know.
I'm going to correlate. We have a 7 chakra within the human body. There are but 7 major chakras within the human body. The first one's survival. It's the root chakra. And then as we move up, it's emotion. And then the third is the mental or thoughts. And it is said that humanity is operating between the first 3. Well, the shift I'm talking about is to go up into the heart, which is the 4th or the 5th or even the 6th. And where pure divinity is the 7th, is that 0 point. That's where creation actually takes place. But as far as survival, that is the way that goes right along with that left brain mind operating. When we're worried about paying the bills, when we're worried about, did I say something wrong? Or we're blaming, shaming, complaining, all in like the first 3 chakras. And we can get stuck there, and we are stuck there. And a lot of us know it, we sense it, and we're here to clear that. And that's part of our mission, is to clear those blockages so humanity can move up to this massive shift that's happening right now. It is happening. I don't have any control over it as far as a human being, but as my divinity, I do. Absolutely. Each one of us has a responsibility to usher in this new way of being, this way of being the divinity that we are, and understanding it. So it's way higher up. It's at least the 4th chakra, 5th, 6th, 7th, from where we're coming from, what I'm trying to convey and to teach. Does that answer your question?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a very elusive question, but it is very deep. And we are stuck in a lot of our lower chakras. Anytime we're worried about wealth or survival, it's usually something is stuck in the first 3 chakras.
Well, and it sounds like it's a choice that we have as an individual to recognize and be aware of the thoughts that reside in that survival mode, that left brain, and then the ability to drop out of that left brain into the right, so that the experience of that higher awareness and higher consciousness can be experienced, and notice the difference in how it feels and how you're expressing through life.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the 3rd chakra, which is right above your belly button. That is the mental body. And that's the chakra associated with thoughts. So emotions is actually the 2nd chakra. So it's below that, right in like the small of your back, but about 3 inches below the 3rd chakra. This is the place where we get stuck a lot. This is where we are stuck. And when we're in our thoughts, we're going back between like probably emotions triggering and our thoughts. Now, here's the freeing aspect of this, and how this is important to navigating through life. If we use our feeling sense, maybe our emotions and our thoughts, you can tell, are they life affirming? Are they whole and lovely? And that's how you know if it's your infallible guidance system to tell you if you're on track or off track. Are you aligned with source energy? You're going to feel good. So the whole, there's whole beings. Abraham Hicks talks about this. My teacher, Jenna Molly, always made us go in and tell us, what is it? What are you feeling? Because you can tell from your emotional, your vibration, the sense that you're feeling within your body. If it's good, you're aligned with source. If it's not good, you're out of alignment with source, because your inner being or your connection to the divinity would only have you feel okay, beautiful, whole. And when you're out of it, you feel that angst that I talked about in the first episode. You'll feel a grating because you're not in alignment with source.
Right.
You're falling away. And it's our infallible guidance system that tells us, well, how are you? And that is the benefit of watching your thoughts, because it tells you inside, how are you vibrating? Are you aligned with consciousness? I've got to do it so you can see. Are you aligned with consciousness, or are you aligned with your mind? Right. Blaming, shaming, complaining. It doesn't feel good. It feels like something's always wrong with you. Something's always wrong with someone or something. And there's no peace to that versus the consciousness. Everything's whole and lovely just as it is.
Well, and that's a great point. What came to mind for me is taking it a step further, and I'd like your insight on it, is that it impacts our nervous system. So, when we don't feel good, it affects our stomach and affects other parts of our body. So keeping aligned with our thoughts and that alignment with source also keeps us healthy and mentally and physically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's our guide. Like, so if you have that angst, it's waking us up to the opportunity that's there. And so that's what we teach. We teach the unfolding of anything is not sensed as whole or lovely. Yes, absolutely. Anything like that. And yes, it's the whole alignment of the body, mind, and spirit. It's not just meant to be, the spirit. It's meant to be everything and all working as this beautiful entity, that the divinity that we are, that we're meant to, and that we are starting to realize, wake up to, and operate from. That is why all this crap is happening on the planet.
Right.
The environment, the political unrest, the pandemic, the mass shootings. Why? Because there's so much of us that are still in that left brain survival, and we're being asked to switch our operating system, kind of just like what we were talking about that's happening with Microsoft today. They're upgrading their system. It's exactly what's happening with humanity right now. We're upgrading our system.
That's a good point. I like that. So if someone's watching and they're like, well, how do I get out of my left head into my right head? What would you tell them?
I would tell them exactly what I told them in that first episode. Go back and watch that, because it's really the foundation. It is through the present moment, is to be God. I had guides that actually had their light on, and that's what we're doing. It's like, I'm holding my light for you, for your audience. I had the light held for me so I could see my light turn on. And it's like, the vision is, it shows me planet Earth with the light just starting to take over 2/3 to 3/4, the whole planet lighting up with this human awareness of our true way of functioning into this ultimate higher expression of humanness. And there's science behind it, because when we meditate, our DNA unravels and we're able to express more of our genetic makeup. When we're stressed, that DNA coils up and you can't express very much of it. And definitely it limits us. So it's this unfolding, this unraveling of the DNA, just like the flower, just like as it unfolds. That is what's happening right now in many different levels, you know, through our thoughts, our feelings, our vibration, the way we're showing up in the world, and how we're going to feel. We're going to feel, and that brings in your question about health. We're going to feel healthier. We're going to feel more awake and aware and alive, and we're going to see more. We're going to experience more. We're going to be more. We're going to be way more our potential. We're going to express way more of our potential.
Oh, and that's awesome. And you give all kinds of tips and more information in your book. So do you have your book you can hold up for people to see?
I do. Here is my book.
Divine trust. Yes. And so I think it's trusting that divine within and that connection to the divine to go from that constriction left brain into the opening right brain. So where can people find you and find your book?
So the book is available on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and Audible. And they can also work with me directly at trustthedivine.com. I do group and individual coaching, mentoring, and I'm starting in August to actually work with volunteering for the Parkland kids, because I know they're still suffering. Right. And with what just happened in Texas, I'm sure that's opened up some wounds. So I'm starting to work with them in a way more formal way at the Parkland Amphitheater.
And what a blessing, right? To be able to help those people that have been impacted by such life trauma that, hopefully they can be in their heart, and you can show them the light and help them with that. So this has been awesome. Thank you for the information. And we've got episode 3 coming up soon, and we're going to talk about, in my meditation, is it good to see the positive possibilities of abundance in life? I know.
Oh, that's a great one. I can't wait for that one.
I'm sure we could talk for hours, but we'll hit on the highlights. So thank you, Nancy. It's always wonderful to talk with you and share your insights, and we will see you next episode.
Eileen, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.